Why, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome on into Bleacher Report. I'm still not over what happened on Monday Night Football to find a way to win against the Chiefs when you didn't play well at all, but you just needed to make a play. And Jalen Hurts, wait for it, made a play. Okay. Checked at the line of scrimmage, went to Devontae Smith, got it down to the 1 yard line. The guy's ridiculous. He's such a smart quarterback. He's such a leader. If you want to count this team out, well, you're a dope because there's no reason to when you have someone who's so remarkable that everybody rallies around, like Jalen Hurts. You're always involved and you always have a shot when he is as smooth as he is. But it is time to flip the page a little bit and take a look ahead at the Buffalo Bills. And this Bills team, similar to Kansas City, they are not the same. They are not that same juggernaut that we once saw. And so far with this gauntlet, the Eagles have done a phenomenal job beating the Miami Dolphins, beating the Dallas Cowboys, and then beating Andy Reid off of a bye in Arrowhead. Incredible. Just incredible. So now you have the opportunity to beat up on a Bills team that isn't really playing great. And it raises the question before we go into what some of our matchups to watch are. Does Brian Johnson scare you? So I'm going to send that poll out right now to our chat room. Does Brian Johnson scare you? I was team Brian Johnson pretty much every week until this most recent week. This put a big, whoa, hold on a second. And that's not to say that he was great and electric in previous weeks. I just saw growth. I saw progression. I saw things that I liked better in the red zone. They started out poor in the red zone. That improved. They started out not figuring out really how to get Dallas Goedert going. That started to get incorporated a little bit better before his injury. So, the team was succeeding. The scripted plays to start the games looked good. I really liked how they were putting sustained drives together. So I liked the progression of Brian Johnson. This was the first week I went, hold on a second. In what universe are you calling those wide receiver screens? In what world, after you get a fumble because Roby punches the ball out, you have that disaster 3-and-out? He needs to clean things up. I'm still willing to give him more of a leash than most. I'm not calling for his firing or anything like that. You're 9-1. Okay, you're 9-1 in 10 games. There's something to be said about Jalen Hurts being 26-2 in his last 28 games and beating teams that have winning records, 13 straight victories. That's telling you something. These stats are pretty outrageous. 13 straight wins versus a team with a winning record. When the game is tied or the Eagles are trailing, Jalen Hurts is second in the NFL in completion rate, first in the NFL in passer rating. You can't make this stuff up. There's legitimacy to the offense in Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson. BJ I guess I can't call him that. I apologize. Brian Johnson just ended up having a really rough day at the office, and I'm fascinated to see what he's like against Buffalo. And I guess that's kind of a perfect segue to talk about what I expect from this team and looking at some of the key matchups. It's Brian Johnson. Like, the guy just has to be better. We need to be better offensively. You can't have your feet stuck in the mud for 2 quarters and then the first drive of the third quarter. That's totally unacceptable. So I really have to look at Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson, the duo, the two duos, the two people that run this duo of the offensive minds. We have to get something more intense rolling, and let's see if we can get the run game rocking. Cam Jurgens is back at right guard, as we saw. I was stunned. So here's another key point to look at. I was stunned by the inability to be effective in the trenches. Every week we'll do a Football Friday show, and we'll look at what this team needs to do to win, and we'll look at the possible X's and O's on where you need to win and what you circle. Well, the Eagles have the advantage in the trenches on both sides pretty much every single time they take the field. To watch Spags get creative up front with their defensive line and to see miscommunication with Lane Johnson. Is it a screen? Is it a not? Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens, Mailata, they were all out of sync, and that's not something that we're accustomed to. So we need Brian Johnson to be better, number one. We need the trenches to both succeed. I want to see Jason Kelsey get to the second level again. I want to watch DeAndre Swift, whether it's in the passing game or just a traditional run out of the shotgun, not traditional run under center, because that's not really a thing here, but out of the gun. Let's get DeAndre Swift the football, and let's get him behind some of these big men up front that can create lanes for him. I need the trenches to be better. They have a good pass rush, and they can make it very overwhelming for Hurts. And you saw that against Kansas City. And that's why I thought they were trying to get the ball out quickly with some of those wide receiver screens. One should have been a pick six over to the left side of the field with Devontae Smith. They got super lucky. I was holding my breath every single second the ball left his fingertips. I didn't know if that was going to result in a touchdown for the damn Chiefs. I would have threw up everywhere. I would have been so disgusted. But, man, like those are two key portions that I'm really studying, along with Josh Allen, who's very willing and very just aggressive. The guy's going to throw the football all around the field. Can we get an interception? We got a massive turnover by Travis Kelce fumbling the ball. We need to do that again. And then to make this all make sense, after you get that turnover, after you get that pick, after you get that interception, maybe it's Darius Slay, maybe it's Bradbury, maybe it's Reed Blankenship. Hell, maybe the ball goes up in the air and it's Zach Cunningham. I don't give a damn who it is, but let's create some turnovers with the guy who is very willing to take that shot, very willing to try and get Diggs going. And you can pass on the Eagles. Nobody's hiding that. You can pass it on the secondary. So I'm sure Diggs will have his hand up, screaming at the top of his lungs for Josh Allen to try and make a throw. Well, let's pounce on that. And then afterwards, let's grind you down. Let's roll a nice drive together. Let's punch it in for 7 points. Use a push-tush if we need to on fourth down. Once again, I don't care how you do it. I just need you to do it. So to get an update on our poll, very, very fascinating results, and I did not expect it to be this close. 56% of the voters are scared of Brian Johnson. That means 44% say, nope, they're 9-1. I am stunned just because, and I'm not telling you that Twitter is the end-all be-all, or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm not telling you that there's a lot of sense on that app, and there's a lot of brain cells on that app. Quite frankly, I think it's the complete opposite. It's a lot of lack of brain cells, but just getting a feel on what people are saying about Brian Johnson, they're not impressed at all, and they don't like anything that he's doing. I'm a little stunned it's this close, but I think it's the right thing. Quite frankly, I think it should be. There's a middle ground here, but if you had to vote on one of these, I'm not scared of Brian Johnson. I'm disappointed in Brian Johnson. I'm angry that I saw some disgusting drives and some poor play calling and the QB draw and it's 3rd and long and you're running your quarterback. Can we please be sharper? Please, please, please. All right. I expect Jalen to try and air it out against the Bills secondary, though. Big difference. We're happy to have bodies back after the bye, but this is what your healthy bodies are. The Bills, maybe not fully what they expected to have when the season began, not the same level of studs in their secondary. So we're stoked to have a lot of our guys returning. It's just a possible area to target if you are Buffalo or any team for that matter. I was shocked that Kansas City was able to run the football as well as they were. Maybe they try and grab something out of that book, and they were going right after you, man, and it sucked because I expected more out of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Can we please stop it? Why do they look like they can lower the shoulder and beat you down and run 5, 6, 7 yards with ease? Why is it a breeze? What are they doing? Can we please stop it? Let's make it a one-dimensional team. Let's force the Kansas City Chiefs to have to throw the football when you have guys out there at the wide receiver position that can't catch. They have no hands. You're watching Andy Reid do exactly what he was doing with Donovan McNabb during the time of great football here in Philadelphia. Once they got P.O., you'd think that maybe Andy Reid wouldn't run his head through a wall trying to do the same exact thing he did in the past. You need those skill position guys, and they are lacking them everywhere except for Travis Kelce. But even Travis Kelce's too worried about Taylor Swift to keep his hands on the football. And here's Roby coming back from injury and making an impact play. Lots of areas to look at. To summarize, Brian Johnson, the trenches, and both secondaries. You'll probably try and air it out against their secondary. And I'm sure Josh Allen is willing to air it out to Diggs and to some other weapons. But let's be ready. Let's turn the rock over. Let's put our offense in a very sexy spot on the field. Let's get it where you turn the football over and you start your drive on the 30-yard line. So maybe a couple plays later, A.J. Brown celebrating. I'm sure A.J. Brown is hitting up Jalen Hurts all week long, texting him away. I got to get myself another hundo. I got to see if I can get 125. Let's go. I can't be flirting around with one reception, dude. And you can see his frustration on the bench. I got no problem with it. They're boys. I mean, I would love to play in the NHL with some of my best friends, right? If you don't know, I played college hockey. I played hockey my whole life. If you told me and my best friend were in the NHL and I screwed up a 2-on-1 and we get back to the bench and he's a little angry with me, yo, dude, what are you doing? And it's like, all right, dude, you dap up, you hug, whatever. It's like, I got you, man. We just want to win. We just want to compete. We just want to both succeed. Hey, come on. When you're that close with somebody, none of it will ever bother me at all. Because if you put yourself in those shoes with someone you're that close with, nothing will break that bond. It's a brotherhood that is so close and is so inseparable that you're fine. You're fine. You just got to work out the details. That's all. We need to play the Bills similar to how we played Miami. Well, we did take Miami's soul. Miami thought that they had a real legitimate shot, and then they got a taste of what the Eagles can do. They can wear you down, especially with your offensive line and defensive line. That's why I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they were so non-existent for a while. Hassan Reddick started the game off hot, but then Josh Sweat is jumping off sides a couple of times. You got Fletcher Cox. You got to play smarter. I can't stand when they start complaining at the refs, where in 2023, when Fletcher's been playing in this league basically since the shift has happened, and it's no longer a league where you can pop the quarterback late. I don't care if it was close. I don't care. We need to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. That's a key area here. The Bills are trying their best to prove to the football world and their fan base. They've already made changes in their coaching staff. When you do that, I'm not going to say it's desperation, but there's a big wake-up call. It's a big sense of urgency. So you know that not only do you get every team's best because you are the Philadelphia Eagles and you have the target on your back, but now you have a team that's trying to prove to themselves that we were underachieving. And what better way to maybe make a statement then go face a Philadelphia Eagles team, a team that is so hard to knock off that Kansas City can't even do in their own building up a bye. Let's go do it. So we got to match that. We can't be shooting ourselves in the foot with taking stupid penalties. I loved how they snagged Miami's soul, though, and broke them. That's maybe what happens. The Bills, everything I just laid out, right? Well, the Bills, they need to make this big splash and let the world know. Or what can happen is a 30-7 beatdown, and then they tell the world something. That something is we're screwed. That something is we're not the same team we were a few years ago. That something is These turnovers are killer. Josh Allen can't play smart. Josh Allen is turning it over too much. Part of the reason why we love Jalen Hurts to death is, historically speaking, and I know that there's been some struggles turning the football over, that interception with him and A.J. Brown last week. I don't really know what happened there. That could be a touchdown. That's 7 points instead. It's a big change on the scoreboard. You cannot turn the football over as much as Josh Allen does. Jalen Hurts, historically speaking, doesn't do that. Maybe it's the complete opposite of what the Bills want to do, which is say something to we'll say something, all right. Say, good luck. You're toast. You're toast. The change at coordinator means nothing. I can't wait. The one thing that sucks about waiting 2 weeks to see your football team play, and then, of course, having to wait for Monday Night Football, so it's not like Sunday, it's, finally, I could take a deep breath and see my team compete again. No, it's a grind. You got to get through Monday. You got to get through the work day. Then you got to get to 8:15, and then finally, and it was definitely a grind as an Eagles fan here. The quick turnaround after is nice. It's nice. It's kind of quick. It's not as much time to soak in what happened against Kansas City, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. You use that cliche a lot in sports. Let's throw that one away and just move on to the next one. I don't think this was a throw-it-away game. We need to assess what went wrong in the offense. We need to assess what went wrong in the passing game and why we couldn't get A.J. going. No, they tried different things. And when you miss Dallas Goedert, it is important to get creative with maybe some personnel. And I did see some unique looks, all right? It wasn't just extremely blah the whole time, but those unique looks didn't work. So if you're doing unique looks and you're trying Zacchaeus and you're lining up this guy and it's not having any sort of powerful push, well, be better. So it's a quick turnaround, but I want you to go back to the drawing board and study what wasn't successful without Goddard, what was successful without Goddard, and sort of hit an entire reset button, because that won't work. That won't work game in, game out. As a big picture view, though, being 9-1 after 10 games, and I did a show on this on a different platform, the Brodes Media platform, this morning. I can't stand how there are some people out there saying that the Eagles are just lucky. Okay, when you win 26 of 28 games, it's not luck. It's not luck. When Jalen Hurts is beating teams with a winning record 13 straight times, that's not luck. That's too long. It is. It's too long of a stretch of time for you to just be lucky. It's not the truth. There's something in the DNA of Hurts and what he instills in everybody else with his leadership and his ability to play the position. His smarts, he studies, he digests things on the fly, he sees things with his eyes, he'll change things at the line of scrimmage. He's a super sharp man. Okay? Just a super sharp man. Sorry, a little tongue twister there. And there's a reason why the numbers correlate with how he carries himself between him and Nick Sirianni. Nick was getting all fired up, huh? Nick was screaming at the fans. NHS says our D-line is unstoppable. By the time the fourth quarter starts, most O-lines can't handle it, and then we'll end up getting a lot of sacks. You've seen that, right? You see Brandon Graham the other night. What was that? Against the Dallas Cowboys. He came alive, right? Josh Sweat at times, he comes alive. He's got a good rate when it's comes down to rushing the passer. Excuse me. I guess I never got that tongue tie out yet. But yeah, you're right. There's something to be said about the depth of this defensive front and how they wear you down. Something that I said similar throughout the show. One more update here on our poll. It's still sitting in the same exact range of 55% saying yes, 55-45 saying nope, 9-1. Things were flopping on me as more votes were coming in. I feel great about this. I do. I have so much confidence in this team, even as they really haven't put it all together yet. Just wait until they do. Just wait for the time where it does happen. It's pretty remarkable. right? And you know that crowd is going to be insane. A 425 game at the Link down in South Philly. The place will be outrageous. Outrageous. I'm going to say it again. Outrageous. The place will be rocking. Sirianni's going to be fired up. He's going to be looking at the crowd from the sidelines, getting everyone juiced up. Ain't nothing like it when you're 9-1 and you got to play in this stadium. Oh, you can hear it through the TV. You can hear it through the broadcast. You can hear the broadcaster show all the love in the world. Like, this is a game in, what is it, November? We're not even in December yet, or is that game technically December? I'm losing track of time. My wife's 36 weeks pregnant, all right? I can barely pay attention to time anymore. I'm like, when's the baby coming out? No, it's the 26th. 26th. That day is. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts because, well, those were my thoughts. I appreciate all you guys so much. We'll continue to have these streams here on Bleacher Report. I love you guys to death. I really do. I can't express how much your love and support means to me, all the great messages that I've been receiving. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much, and go Birds.